We are back with the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Cali. As always, I'm joined by none other than Dom Loss. And Dom, Bills are 4-0. You know, it wasn't the prettiest of games, to say the least. And I think we said the same thing after the Jets game, right? And it wasn't the most, I guess,
Dolphins game.
Or the Dolphins game, excuse me, right. It's kind of a broken record-esque show because, you know, well, at least for me it is. I thought they were going to pound the Dolphins and then pound the Saints, but they kept it a little interesting, to say the least. They still put up a double-digit victory, still score above 30 points. I have a little bit of heartbreak in this one, I got to tell you. I did have a 15-leg parlay going, $10 I put down, right? It was a no-sweat bet, so I was like, why not? All 14 out of 15 legs hit. You know what doesn't hit? Bills over 31.5 points.
And guess what? Weren't you sweating that one out?
I was sweating it out because
no sweat in my ass.
Well, yeah, no sweat. Right. Well, technically, I have the $10 back in my FanDuel account, so I can do it again next week. Yeah, it was, to say the least, quite interesting of a matchup. But before we dive in here, what do you think? Was this what you were kind of expecting, or you know, you were on the more like, you didn't want to say they were going to kill them.
I had it 38-10, so I definitely at the end of it. I don't know. I mean, I did predict Cole Bishop's interception.
You did?
And I did predict that Shakir would have a big game.
I said Deion Walker was going to have a big game. He got back there, 2 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I think the only thing I guess maybe I should have thought of more of when I was bringing it up on betting on the Bills was the Titans game last year. This felt like very similar type of game.
A little bit.
Where
I think you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember
that.
But
I just went 38-10 because I thought the game was a little bit like that. I was like, screw it. I think they're going to blow them out. But yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like we've gotten so spoiled that we look up at this final score and they win 31-19 and we're all like a little pissed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you heard this, but Chris Brown, the voice of the Bills, he does the play-by-play, was talking on One Bills Live saying how he walked up to somebody in the parking lot and they were like, "Oh, they look terrible," and he's like, "There's a double-digit victory on the scoreboard and they're 4-0." What are you complaining about? I think everybody is kind of spoiled, and that's just what it is because we've gotten even the first Baltimore game that was a great game. It wasn't to start, but they ended up really putting a game together. The Miami game, the Jets game, this game, they've just kind of been games. And I think it's just who you're playing and the expectation that you're just going to blow. The Bills are the best at blowing out bad teams. We know that. But realistically, just looking at this, the Dolphins had a season to play for, right? The calls for the firing of their coach and GM have never been louder. We'll get into them maybe a touch later with the whole Tyreek Hill leg not existing anymore. But also, the Saints, they're desperate. They got absolutely murdered by the Seahawks the week before. They were going to give you everything they had. They played a tough game. That interception, Allen's first pick, got to say, that was a really good play. Probably shouldn't have thrown it, but that was a good play by that safety.
I mean, I don't know. It was a good throw.
It was a good throw.
To be honest, it was maybe not the best decision, but it was cover 3, and Keon Coleman cooked the corner, so you would think it was a great play by the middle of the field safety.
It was. But, there are certain things to nitpick, but people are so negative after a 30-plus point victory. They've scored 30 points every week. 30-plus points.
I think, I'll say this. I'm mostly more optimistic, but I'll be a little pessimistic here.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are more upset because I think there was a very realistic chance that they were really going to be pissed going in that parking lot for loss. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't
it became real there for a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. That we were very close to Brandon Cooks, was able to hang on to that touchdown to them being down 22-21 pending a 2-point conversion.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I think there's reasons to be frustrated, but hopefully they don't get complacent with just winning like this. They got to play better. This is not good enough.
No, not
right.
nearly.
It's good enough to win. It's not good enough to get to their end goal of winning the Super Bowl. But again, it's week 4. That they got guys out, guys banged up, guys working back from injury, and
suspension in a couple weeks. So
we'll see.
A few people come off IR this week. We'll go over that more on betting on the Bills, maybe a little later in this episode. But just to highlight a couple players, and then we'll get to the Dom 5. James Cook had a day: 22 carries, 117 yards, a touchdown. Josh Allen also on the ground, 7 carries, 45 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. He threw for 2 touchdowns, 16 for 22, 209 yards. He did throw the interception. Ray Davis also contributes with 3 yards on 1 carry. So, he's chunking away. Receiving room, Dalton Kincaid had a big catch. The tight ends were targeted 3 times, 2 to Kincaid, 1 for Hawes. Dawson Knox, a non-factor in the tight end room. We'll see. Kincaid ends up pulling in the touchdown. And then Khalil Shakir, 5 receptions, 69 yards and a touchdown. And I got to highlight one defensive guy, and you know who it's going to be. I already said his name. Big man, Deion Walker. He got there, a couple tackles for loss, big moments from him, big shiner moments for him. So great to see that from a young rookie, and it's only going to go up from here, especially as the defensive line gets healthier, gets more help around him. I think we're in for a good Deion Walker season. But without further ado, kick it over to you now for the we'll put a little emphasis on this.
The Dom 5.
First time we've done that all year.
I know.
Number 1, Freaky Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar. I think this is very. I mean, a week ago they beat Miami 31-21. This week they beat New Orleans 31-19. Both at home. Both kind of have fourth quarter roughing the punters.
Yeah,
that then the Bills.
That was bad. This one now the punter's going to be missing some time, so they're doing some tryouts there.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's very similar games where I think we had to throw out the records maybe and. What's happened maybe in the previous weeks of this is the NFL and these are still good players, maybe not great teams, but that everyone has good players. So, yeah, I mean, it's a weird result because I don't think the Bills played particularly well, but then you look at the scoreboard and they won by 12 points.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, okay, like the defense, it's weird. You think the defense didn't play well, but they only got 19 points. Right, you think the offense doesn't play well, but they've actually scored 31 points. So it's a very bizarre game, but that's football.
Yeah, it's any given Sunday, as I like to say, and we saw that first glance. I mean, Spencer Rattler had a okay day. Like he was rushing a little more than we would have liked, but what are you going to do? A win is a win. That's how the Chiefs went almost undefeated until they met the Bills last year. It was just fluky, not fluky, but you know what I mean. Like voodoo magic came out. Of nowhere kind of wins, but go ahead. What's number 2?
Number 2. Welcome to the splash party, Cole Bishop.
Yes.
Gets his first interception, makes really a game-changing play. New Orleans was probably, I mean, at the bare minimum, going to kick a field goal and be down 1 going into the half, right? He takes points off the board, able to give the Bills the halftime lead, which I think calmed the fans down a little bit when they came out in the second half, then was able to execute the stop them and then score a touchdown. Next thing you know, it's an 11-point game, but they didn't really pull away again. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Bishop has been really solid this year. I know week 1 was kind of tough. I know the highlight of him getting just destroyed by Derrick
Henry.
And listen, he's still a young player. Like I think he's still making some mistakes, like the touchdown to Olave. Like you'd have liked him maybe to react a little bit quicker. Maybe he could have batted away. That almost touchdown to Cooks was probably his fault. He got cooked a little bit by Cooks. But
cooked by Cooks.
Got the interception. I think he's been really solid tackling, especially when, to limit those plays from going from 10 yards to 25 plus. He's been really solid. So credit to Cole Bishop. Hopefully this is kind of this is only his 8th career start. Hopefully this is kind of a springboard to some momentum to the back half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at the safety room, Cole Bishop has been playing better than Taylor Rapp has this season. So
that's true.
The calls for DeMar Hamlin have never been louder for Taylor Rapp.
No, they have not. No one. I haven't seen one person.
I know. I'm just kidding. No one wants to see DeMar Hamlin out there, but Cole Bishop is playing like the better safety this, in these past few games. So hopefully Taylor Rapp can turn it around. Already almost took someone out for friendly fire, but it's great to see Cole Bishop getting into the splash column, breaking through. He's with injury. He's missed so much time in the early parts of the season, the preseason. It's almost felt like he's been playing catch up since he first arrived on the team. So for him to be able to get out there and get ahead of it a little bit and make a splash play, take some pressure off of himself, that's big. So congrats to the young lad.
Number 3, NFL does not equal CFB. In college football, whoever is the bottom of your conference.
Oh, I thought you were going to make an overtime joke, straight from the Bills.
I mean, that's true. College football. I guess a good example would be like if Purdue played Ohio State. Like Ohio State's just going to beat Purdue by 50 points. They're the worst team in their conference.
Yeah.
The Saints are, honest to God, one of the worst teams in the NFL. That's not a slight to them. That's just how it is.
On paper, they are. Yes.
On paper, they are. And the Bills on paper are one of the best teams in the NFL. And you saw it was still a competitive, tough game. And I think that's kind of, again, you learn lessons throughout the season as fans and as young players probably too. Like, it's a week-to-week league. Any given Sunday,
don't play the schedule, play the opponent.
You have to play your best.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play good football. And did the Bills play their best? No. Did they play good football at times? Yes, and that was enough to get it done.
Yeah. And everyone was expecting a blowout, including myself. But at the end of the day, they were able to get the job done. And it's not like the Saints were going to come here and not play. Like I said in the beginning, they were desperate for a win. They had to try and do something. They're going to throw everything they had at you. And they even tried the orbit motion, and that's where Cole Bishop got lucky there. So they gave him everything they had, and I guess it's, as we say, any given Sunday, anything can happen. Just because they're the worst team on paper, everybody's a professional. They're professionally paid athletes. It's not a college program. So at the end of the day,
I mean, some of those guys in college do get paid too.
I mean, some of the better ones, absolutely, with the NIL deals and stuff now, but just my point. Like, they're professional athletes. Like, everybody's getting paid who's on a roster for a reason, whether it be for better or for worse. So they're going to come out and give it their best, and that's what they did. But go ahead.
Number 4, tweaks on the defense needed.
You think?
Both, I think, in the short term, and I think their overall defensive philosophy in the long term. So I think short term, what I'm saying is, like, I think Dorian Williams doesn't look 100%, and Shaq Thompson has played awesome.
Shaq Thompson's played phenomenal.
Yeah, and the big thing on him has always been injuries. So as long as he was a little banged up earlier, but yeah, I mean, he's played a lot better than Dorian Williams, a lot better in coverage, and I think Dorian, I think, is going to be fine if you put him in base and make him the third linebacker on those rundowns, but he's just been so brutal in coverage, which has always been the story of his career, unfortunately. So yeah,
last year we saw that up close and personal.
I think I would consider starting Shaq Thompson for the foreseeable future, at least until Dorian looks like himself. He doesn't even look like Dorian Williams is an athletic linebacker. He did not look very athletic on Sunday. I don't know if he has like a nagging injury or whatever, but
I don't know.
I think that would be a tweak. And another tweak I would make is I think they really they did it a little bit. I think they really need to start heavily rotating more that cornerback 2 position opposite Benford. That's that corner. I mean, they did it a little bit.
Tre'Davious White was having a rough day.
I thought Dorian Strong was a lot better than Tre'Davious White on Sunday. And I don't know. I love Trey, but 2 penalties, especially I think one of them was on a scramble that Rattler had. I thought one of them was one that was like an incompletion. So
I think it might have been.
So it's just like, I don't know. You want more. I don't think he showed great effort on that touchdown. Like it was like the Sam Martin against the Jets where he tried to like punch it out by like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love Trey, but I think Dorian Strong looked like a willing tackler. Didn't seem to get picked out in coverage. Obviously, is at the moment just a more athletic player. I think that's what the Bills defense kind of needs is a youth a little bit, and I think I would like to see more of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, Dorian Williams did his job last season. He was at least serviceable. But at the end of the day, whoever's playing best gets the roster spot. And it's unfortunate Matt Milano's injured yet again when we have to sit here and even have this conversation. That'd be really interesting to see how that ends up. And cornerback, too, you're absolutely right. I mean, we said it. Trey White did not look great. Dorian Strong definitely looked better. I don't know. I'm waiting for Maxwell Hairston to return just to see if he can get into that rotation as well and see how well he takes it. But for now, I 100% agree with you. Go ahead.
And then I would say the philosophy needs to change a little bit. I'm confused that the Bills had been so ahead of the curve on defense for the longest time. Right? With the nickel, with these more athletic linebackers coverage, right? And then you see it on offense, like the Bills were a 10 personnel, 11 personnel, wide receiver driven, passing, throw it around the yard. And then they adjusted because they got punched in the absolute mouth by Cincinnati in the playoffs. And they've now adjusted to having one of the better offensive lines now, having, a legit running game outside of Josh Allen. And so it's frustrating that I feel like they've evolved offensively, but then they've defensively. I'm not saying they haven't made some philosophical changes. Like the Bills never used to get out nickel.
No,
we're seeing a lot more base 3 linebacker sets than we've ever seen before. I know we've seen a little bit more, unique pressures where they're dropping a defensive lineman but blitzing a second level defender. Like I'm all for that. I just think it's a little frustrating that the Bills have adjusted offensively to be the kind of this ground and pound team with an elite quarterback, and defensively, they're still kind of the same team that that gives up these runs. I mean, I think they're 29th in DVOA against the run this year.
Yeah,
and some of it's the defensive line. Like they just refuse to get like a big 340-pound nose tackle. I know Deanne Walker is not a one tech. I hate when people bring that up. He is not a one tech. I know he plays one tech a little bit. I know he's a big body. You saw the 2 tackles for loss. That was him being super athletic and just swim moving.
He's a pass rusher.
Yeah. It's not, and that's what they want, right? They want interior pass rushers on the field, so they give up the runs. It just gets a little frustrating. The tackling has always been, the Bills have always been a bad tackling team.
Yes,
but like it's just a little frustrating that it's like, okay, you just allow these teams to possess the ball.
Yeah, just waste time on you.
And you have Josh Allen at the helm. Like you're just, I don't know. I think there has to be a little bit of a change, but who knows?
I agree with you. I have nothing more to say.
But number 5, the game day roster juggling, will it continue? We saw Condrington play the first 3 games, didn't play this game. I think he's going to get cut. I think a return specialist, they don't trust you. Like the whole point of like maybe the new kickoff was like if you're a return specialist, you could gain value because you could handle it, but
it devalued him pretty much.
Yeah, I just don't understand where his roster will be when these guys come back. I like they've been wrestling around. I don't understand how Landon Jackson hasn't gotten a look. And that's concerning that he hasn't. Like Javon Solomon, I don't care. The special teams argument really makes me upset because it's like, okay, I know he plays the 4 core special teams. Are we sure that Landon Jackson can at least do some of that as well? Like, I'm sorry. Like, at some point, it's like, I'm sorry. Javon Solomon's giving you nothing as the 4th edge. You saw AJ Epinesa when he's finally in the role of designated pass rusher. Like, he could rush the quarterback. He shouldn't be a guy that's on there rotating in or playing on early downs because he's not the greatest run defender, right? Yeah. And you also want to give Bosa, they still haven't been able to take snaps away from Bosa because Javon Solomon's giving them nothing. Yeah, and they put AJ in the right spot for him, but it's like for the team, like I'd like to see Landon Jackson these next 2 games at least play and see if he could,
see if he does anything,
more
than Javon Solomon is doing.
Yeah, so
it would be nice to see that. You're absolutely right.
That's frustrating. Other than that, like I'll be interested to see what happens when the defensive linemen come back. Obviously, I'm a little concerned the fact that Jordan Phillips got the call up. I think we mentioned that.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
It's like, I mean, maybe it's just that they don't want to burn Zion Logue and they want to have him for later in the season. Sure, okay, I guess I could have that argument, but with Ed limping in today,
it's not great.
On Sunday, it's like I don't think that's a dude that's going to be ready to play in a week.
No,
and so it's kind of like what I thought maybe is they're going to burn some of Phillips's practice squads and get to the bye. Like I don't know. Yeah, maybe he plays Monday again. I still think there's a chance he plays on Monday night against Atlanta in Week 6, and just like they want to see with the extra weekend change off, like how will the ankle respond to actually playing. But that was another like Dom 6th one is a little bit more concerned by that, Oliver.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. We did talk about that and what elevating Phillips could mean. He was out there. He was revving the crowd up. He made his presence known, not from doing anything on the field.
Still gets blown off the ball.
Yeah, not from doing anything. Actually,
love Jordan Phillips. Yeah, man, he still gets blown off the ball 5 yards. Like he's.
That's what we're working with, though. That's the depth, unfortunately. But I'm with you. Just back to Landon Jackson. I want to see him out there. Like, just contribute anything past what Javon Solomon's doing. But it's kind of it's a win. We're going to take a win. But there's also, I feel like it's just kind of a meh win, even though they did put up double-digit points. Just looking ahead now, the Patriots, the rivalry game coming up Sunday, October 5th, this coming week, prime time. Then you have the Falcons. And I mean, with the defensive struggles we mentioned, this is getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but I just wanted to see. Stopping the run has been a kryptonite for the Bills this season. Derrick Henry hasn't done anything against any other team but the Bills. is Bijan Robinson going to have a day like that? Like your points in the Dom 5, it's season wide. Because if Isaiah Pacheco also wakes up for the Chiefs,
he's terrible.
He is terrible. But I'm just saying, if he's going to run against anybody, it's going to be the Bills. Like that's what it's going to be.
I'm not super concerned about random. Yeah, I'm not super concerned about that. But yeah, I mean, I think there are things that there's information that we need to learn throughout the season. Still, like I think.
It's ever evolving.
We're a quarter of the way through. I know there's 17 games, but we're a quarter of the way through. Screw the whatever. Well,
Week 18 doesn't count.
First quarter in the first quarter of the Patriots game, we're officially a quarter of the way through because it's.
But yeah, you're right.
4 games in a quarter, but whatever. I think there's just things we need to learn. Right? Is Max Harrison going to actually play?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen? Dorian Strong versus Trey White. That's really the thing at cornerback. What happens when Milano comes back? Is he going to look better? Right? What happens in the defensive line room when the defensive guys come back? How does that all overlook? I think a thing on offense is what the hell has happened to Ray Davis and Ty Johnson? Like, these guys look nothing like they did. I mean, these guys were good players last year, and they look terrible.
They look abysmal.
James Cook runs for 5 yards in the first play of the fourth quarter, loses his shoe, needs to tie his shoe. Ray Davis comes in, gives like the least juice 3-yard run ever, and then they hand it off to Ty Johnson, and then they do the, get a little cue with it with the Shakir shovel pass that goes for nothing. Like,
yeah, that was bad. That was
bad. So like, you're not like, it's kind of like Bosa, where it's like James Cook has never had this workload. And yeah, James Cook does a pretty decent job of like not taking mega hits.
No, he knows how to absorb the impact, if you will.
Like Tyler Lockett, like be able to get down or get about.
Like kind of go with them a little bit.
At the same time, it's like I would like it where if we could find a way to get those guys to back where they were the year ago, and then
it'd be nice because then you have a running back rotation that actually could work. But
I know. I mean, it's tough to leak. James Cook is playing so well; it's tough to get him off the field. But at the same time, you would like it where
you don't want to burn him out in the first 5-10 games.
You would like it where your 2 running backs from last year who were very effective, can at least shoulder some load. And then finally, the passing offense. It's just like, is this just going to be like? This is, I guess, the frustration for everyone needs is like it's just impossible to predict.
No, you have no idea.
Because like
no idea.
I thought Kincaid catches 1 pass for the touchdown.
Keeps his streak alive this season.
But I thought he had some good opportunities that Josh and hit him on, right? And Keon, you thought he makes those 2 catches down the field for like 20 yards a pop or whatever it was, and he ends up like, oh my god, like this is Keon, like this is his game where he's just gonna go off, right? He cooks the corner on the interception, which is unfortunate. That could have been a big play, but then you end the game with 4 targets for 3 catches.
Yeah,
and it's like Josh Palmer catches the first pass of the game for like. And he gets like another, I think, a pass for 5 yards.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah.
Like,
and it was weird how much Chris Samuel there was. I have no idea what they're doing with Chris Samuel. I think he's like, listen, he had a nice round in the first 3rd down. I just think Elijah Moore has taken over that role, and I don't.
Both of them aren't that fast in that role either.
Well, no, they're both pretty fast.
Yeah, but like,
it doesn't matter. They don't need speed in that role.
Like, it's just
no. I mean,
I feel like what a waste Curtis Samuel is, though. Like, if you're just going to get Elijah Moore,
I mean, they got to figure that out. I don't know if they do that to trade him or whatever. Again, that could be something they were looking at doing. But yeah, I mean, I think the passing offense is just going to be really hard to predict. It's really like, I think it's going to be hard to look at the raw statistics at the end of the year when you look at these guys. Because I think Keon's played pretty well for the most part this season. I don't think he played great against Miami. He was already against the Jets, but he was really good against Baltimore. I thought he was good against the Saints. He just didn't get a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
And Kincaid's been pretty solid the entire year, but again, only has the 1 catch. So, and again, they only threw the ball 22 times.
Yeah.
Right? So,
that's all it was. It's just, and Allen still put up 209 yards, 2 touchdowns on that. So that is what everybody eats is going to be.
Like, they threw it 22 times, and James Cook carried the ball 22 times. So it's like, I don't know. It's game script a little bit too, where it's like,
well, their first 2 drives
they haven't really made Josh. I don't think they've shown anything, like for these teams down. Like they haven't really shown maybe some looks that they have in their back pocket.
Yeah, they're gonna break them out when they need to.
So I think that could be frustrating because it's like, dudes, you guys almost lost the game. Like, but I just think they're in. I mean, the Bills. However you hate them, and maybe this is the reason why sometimes they lose games they shouldn't, why they don't get the 1 seed, is that they want to be playing their best ball in January, right? And they're not going to, like, on these, like, 3rd and 1. They've just shown that 1st and goal at the 1, they're going to hand the ball up to James Cook right now. They're not going to push Josh Allen really in.
No.
They did it a couple times against the Ravens because that was a bigger game.
Yeah, that had implications for the standings, AFC standings.
And you saw on the on some third downs of that game, they ran Josh. They didn't really run Josh really that much. But when Josh had it, he ran for 27 yards.
Yeah, talk about big brothering.
So
that entire secondary.
I mean, it's a good result. It's an okay performance. But improvements need to be made.
I agree with you. And I think that's just the takeaway for the entire season so far. It's good to be sitting here and they win by double digits, put up 30 plus points per week, and sit here and say there's a lot to be worked on. I'd rather be in that position than 0-4 and be like, what do we do from here? You know, all things considered, we can sit here and say that, where I remember even just the 5-5 Ken Dorsey start. Like, that was a totally different feel, you know?
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of good, but there's also a lot to work on. So I think this early in the year, I mean, I'm okay being right here. I don't know about you.
I'm good being 4-0.
I'm sitting atop of the AFC.
I'm good where they are result-wise. I think they need to play better.
Yeah, just execution can clean up here and there. And who knows, with people coming back from suspension, injury, things might just clean themselves up. We'll see. I think there's a little too much stock in Hoyt, but we'll talk about that later in the week. He played really well against preseason teams. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying he's not going to be great, but
exposing yourself as a Hoyt hater.
I'm not a Hoyt hater. Again, I'm not saying he's not going to be
first team all Hoyt hater.
I'm not saying he's not going to be great. I just think the last time we saw him in Ogunjobi, it was against
subpar competition. So I don't think our expectation should be that right out the gate. I think they're going to have to work their way back up to NFL talent. But I'd be remiss if we didn't, in the last 2 minutes here of this edition, mention the Buffalo Sabres. The preseason rolling on. The regular season begins in 9 days from the recording. Samuelson is already injured. Take a drink.
Yes. Maybe the bottle, if you will. But it's absolutely that. I was waiting for you to say that because I've just been waiting to do this and talk about the Sabres a little bit. But they play tomorrow, Friday, and then it's the opener. So they have a chunk of time off. They play tomorrow against the Penguins and against the Penguins again, but they bounce back and forth from Pittsburgh to here tomorrow and Friday. And then Thursday, October 9th, the Rangers are in town for the home opener. So we'll see what happens. There is some positives in the preseason, but they look great in the preseason last year, especially over in Prague. And then you and I watched that first Devils game together, and that was bad. So till we see some regular season on ice product, I don't know what to think. But what do you have for closing remarks here on the Sabres? You got anything?
I want them to get healthier. It's gonna be interesting. I think Ryan Johnson may have an opportunity to make the team and being the starting pair with Timmins, with Samuelson injured, and probably gonna have Bryson be the 7th defenseman.
Yep.
Other than that, pray that Josh Norris stays healthy. And
yeah, he looks good when he's healthy.
He's looked a lot better in the preseason. He looks like he actually has some chemistry with Tage, and Benson on the top line.
That'd be cool to see.
So
your top line have some chemistry.
That would be big, right? And hopefully Darlene, hopefully he gets some national recognition because he deserves it. So I don't know. UPL's back on the ice. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Again, that's another knock on wood. So
how do you feel about Mertka before we go? A lot of people want him to start in Buffalo.
Okay, that's stupid.
I'm just saying, yeah.
That's dumb.
He can start in Rochester though.
I think there's a debate whether to make him go to juniors or Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could say they should put him in Rochester because it's tougher competition. It's professional grown men.
Could help him get more NHL ready quicker.
More NHL ready, or they want to go juniors and be like, let's just take the long route. Because this guy was a guy that was supposed to potentially be a multi-year development guy, but he's looked really good the last month. So, credit to him. And, we need a right shot defenseman, so
yeah,
poor guy. So
get him ready.
Hopefully in a couple of years. But
get him ready. That's going to do it for this edition of the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Cali. As always, I'm joined by none other than Dom Loss. And Dom, how do we always end these, buddy?
Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills. We'll talk to you on Friday.